Coming off a disastrous loss to Minnesota, Nebraska returned home last week to play the Northwestern Wildcats in a must-win situation. The Big Red got off to a terrific start.
One wide at either side of the line. Raiola under center. Takes a snap. Counter handoff left. Here's Johnson. Slants to the outside 10. Foot race 5. EJ's in. Touchdown Huskers. Fitting way to cap the opening drive.
But the Huskers were stuck at 7 points for the remainder of the half and entered the locker room with just a 1-point edge, 7-6. They needed a jolt in the second half, and they got it.
High end over end kick, short and returnable for Williams at the 6, outside the right hash of the 10, swerves left to the 15-20, sprints to the 25-30 on the numbers, 35. Williams down the sideline of midfield, breaks an ankle tackle, 30, 25-20. Williams all the way. Touchdown Huskers. Raiola out of the gun, single back left. Claims the snap, off play action, lobs a fade near left side of the end zone for Hunter. Twisting catch. Hunter's got it. Touchdown Huskers. A back shoulder fade. A spinning catch for Hunter. 20-6 with 7:39 to go in the third.
After those 2 touchdowns, it appeared as though Nebraska might run away with it. But Northwestern managed to wrestle their way back into the contest, eventually tying the game at 21 early in the fourth quarter. Once again, the Big Red needed a response.
2 wide right, 2 receivers left. Lindenmeyer motions in line right. Single back Johnson. Snap, turn, handoff Johnson over right guard. Powers, fights, grinds, touchdown Huskers! 2:44 to go. Emmett Johnson would not be denied. 27-21. Nebraska. Clap for the snap. Comes in chest high. 4-man rush. Stone unleashes. Near left side. Overthrows. Weldy at the 1. Incomplete. The defense finds a way. They're going to win it.
It's just a milestone for us. We want to keep going. We want to keep winning. Week by week, we are winners, so we're just going to do the process, keep the standard, and let the film speak for itself.
Next up for the Huskers is a ranked opponent coming to Lincoln, the USC Trojans. The excitement has grown throughout the week in Husker Nation as they prepare for a blackout at Memorial Stadium. But the team has remained locked in on their goals.
Being in the Big Ten, you're going to go against good competitive teams every week. USC is a talented, very talented team. I think that we are very excited to get the chance to compete with them. But yeah, I think they're going to be their challenge for sure, just like everybody else.
I would ask every single Husker fan that's going to be at the game to be as loud and as crazy and as disruptive as they can be, because we're going to try to do the same with how we play and how I call the game. But obviously you play at home in front of our crowd, in front of our people, in a night game. We need every bit of help we can get.
Depending on how our mindset is, like, you can be the team that showed up at Minnesota, or you could be the team that showed up here. Like, let's just worry about ourselves, and let's just prepare for ourselves. And I think we have a pretty good team when we do that. So there's a bunch of teams right now that are at 5-2 and 6-2, and you have to win your way in.
Now, here are your hosts, Ben McLaughlin and Damon Benning.
Boy, what a week it's been here this week in Husker Nation, prepping for a night tilt with the nationally ranked USC Trojans. Damon, we're back in blackout week. Mm-hmm. It's been an interesting week here, to say the least, around not only this matchup but just within the walls here in Lincoln. And I think everybody here is just excited for this matchup here tonight. Put kind of the extracurricular stuff in the back pocket. Obviously, the atmosphere is going to be electric tonight. But we're ready for this football game between Nebraska and USC. I would say an epic helmet game, except ours looks a little different this week. I think it generally still applies, but it's going to be a good matchup. Going to be cold. Officially feels like football weather now that we've turned the calendar to November, and everybody's excited for this one here at Memorial Stadium under the lights. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Ben McLaughlin joined, as always, by former Husker national champion Damon Benning. DB, welcome.
Hi, Ben.
I'd ask how you are, but I feel like I got a pretty good pulse of that.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Locked in, as I just was joking with with Cam Bam over there. I am locked in because we've got SC Nebraska, we've got the Dodgers, we've got cocktail parties. We're ACDing this thing up, ACDCing this thing up with being back in black. I'm pretty pumped, man. We got a chance to cross one off the old narrative box in terms of beating a ranked opponent, so let's go get it.
Yeah, and USC's looking to do the same with winning a road game. So both have some on the line and some narratives to break here tonight.
So Taylor Martinez quote in there, right?
Like to play against loud stuff?
I like playing against road games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of those were dropped in the same.
God bless that Hall of Famer.
Locker room show, Josh? I think, yeah, you dropped both of those in the same. Just legendary.
Yeah.
Great quarterback.
I spat.
Very, he does spat. Very fast. Maybe media wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
It's not everybody's thing. However,
I
we did have
remember
him.
a long time during his career, I'd say, come on, guys. I get it. He's the quarterback of the state team, but can we just stop running him up there? He clearly doesn't like it. Just cut it. Just give him just don't make him do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody said, oh, DB, you're going soft on crime, man. He's the quarterback. You got to make him talk. And I was like, no, you don't.
We had him on a pregame show. Was it last year or the year before? And he was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, he was sensational. We were over in the old booth.
Listen to him talk.
And he was kind of giddy and funny. And
open
I was
and
like,
candid. I was just like, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, you get in the Hall of Fame and you come back to celebrate, and it's like, life is good.
Man, he had college football.
Remember the crew he brought
there for about 2 months.
Remember the crew he brought with him?
Oh, yeah.
They were living their best life.
Sure. And I'm glad it was good terms on his part.
Yeah.
Because
good call.
It started out with such a bang, right? I mean, it was his first or second run, and he's throwing the bones against Western Kentucky, and then we had to explain that's for the defense. They do that. You can do your own thing. But
how's that delivery go again?
You got it. You're around it enough.
That's for the defense.
Speaking of black shirts, Damon, black uniforms. You've seen them?
Yeah.
Fan? Not a fan?
I'm a fan. It doesn't really matter to me. Like you could wear polka dot, and if you can handle it,
I think Oregon has before.
Go play ball, man. I'm not real nostalgic. I'm not a traditionalist. Now I'm a curmudgeon, but not about uniforms, right? Like I just play ball, and if they're gonna have fun with it and they embrace it, I'm with the young men out there tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, everyone can have their opinion, and I think most of it's been positive. There's definitely going to be people that aren't fans, and that's okay too.
Well, you know what?
We're a red and white school. But ultimately, this is what it is in college athletics anymore. You know, the kids, the players love it. The young men love it. And this is going to be a unique opportunity day after Halloween to wear the black. And certainly I know just from walking from the parking garage over here this afternoon, one completely different feel than Northwestern.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's saying anything out of bounds. I feel like that's a pretty cut and dry statement I just made, but a lot of black already out there. I think people are following the assignment so far.
I sat in the parking lot. I was just kind of doing some high school cut-ups and going through huddle, and there was a ton of black. I mean, the marching band, I was watching them practice. A lot of the fans. I was a little disappointed because I think, what's the Big Ten allotment for tickets? Is it 4,000, 3,500? It's somewhere around there. And I didn't want to see any SC fans, but I saw a few. And, but there was a ton of black. And whatever happens tonight with the fans responding with the wardrobe attire, just be loud, just be loud, just be loud, right? And I get it. Give us something to be loud about.
Yeah.
No, do it anyway.
You're on one.
And the
today.
team will respond.
Like how you've thrown 4 or 5 different voices at us already in 9 minutes. Like
it's because I don't like my own.
You're on one. Well, here and I have to bring this up because Sharpie would always say this.
Okay.
Something we got to consider is it's cold, so everyone's going to have those gloves on, so the clapping noise is going to be muffled a little bit.
Who thinks of that?
He threw that out anytime it was below.
Are you
40,
joking?
No. I've heard him say that probably 100. Anytime it was under 40 degrees.
Oh, that's classic.
Just imagine how loud it'd be in here if people didn't have their
what he'd
gloves
say
on.
to me today?
That's what you're wearing?
Oh, my gosh. That's uncanny. Did you look at the forecast? Did you not think it was going to be cold?
And then he'd have that tongue-in-cheek wry smile. How's that walk over from the parking lot?
And so I would haul around, and I would, of course, have disappointed him with his fatherly self, and he'd say, "You at least brought gloves, didn't you?" I'm over.
Yeah. Well, you know that window's going open, right? So
just an absolute classic.
Yeah. Well,
it's pretty good. It's almost like
clap,
it's almost like you worked with him a while.
Yeah. If you're going to clap, just for Sharpie's sake, take the gloves off for a little while, just until the digits get too cold, and then put them back on. Yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere. I know a lot of people are really excited. I know the players are really excited, and certainly the opponent has a lot to do with that as well. DB, also news around our head coach this week, and I know it was just a couple of weeks ago you and I were joking in that spacious booth in Minneapolis about all the rumors swirling around about the future of our head coach and what was happening in State College. But I know Troy Dannon and President Gold and everybody behind the scenes has been working really hard and finally getting this done. And I love the way that Coach Rule put it, right? Like, he wanted this done as quickly as possible to eliminate the distraction with his players.
Absolutely.
And so this will be the last time we have to talk about it, because it's kind of signed, sealed, deliver at this point, and it's kind of back to what happens between the white lines.
Yeah, it's great timing too, right? Huge recruiting weekend. Quail some of the rumors out there. You get some stability in the program. If you're anti, like, well, why now? It's incentives based, not a real change in annual salary. So it's a win-win for everybody across the board. Lock him up.
And from a player's standpoint, like, coaches have said before that they're staying and have not stayed.
Correct.
But it's one thing to kind of put your money where your mouth is, and you kind of build on that trust that your players have in you.
Yeah, and I think the guys, whatever it was that he was telling them, there's the counter argument, right? What happened in Baylor with the really quick job offer from Carolina, and I'm sure Coach Rule's family thought, hey, we're going to be in Waco for a while. We got this great house, and it's a pretty place, and president and the administration supports us, and then Carolina happens. And then you're in Carolina, and you think, wow, we've made it. We're in the NFL, and then you're asked to leave 2.5 years later. So I think for his family and their peace of mind and their stability and how he feels about his family, the players are now comfortable because they knew some of the Baylor stories. They knew some of the Carolina stories. And in the back of their minds, they hear what people are saying. I know our coach is telling us this, but there's always this possibility until pen meets paper. Well, pen met paper. Let's go play ball.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the other stories I feel like we need to talk about is the weather. Yeah. The coach brought it up this week. We've practiced outside, and he admitted himself it was cold. Yeah. I mean, it was cold out there when they were practicing. That's been a topic of conversation in the past about how Nebraska goes about weeks of preparation, knowing that there's going to be some elements. And now that we've officially turned to November, for those that had young ones out trick-or-treating last night, you know it wasn't the warmest of environments last night.
It was so, like, whether the wind blows or not, I like the temp. But I want to go back to practice on Wednesday when I came down. God bless KC. He came in bundled up like a snowman today, right? It was fantastic.
We're going to have to cheer him up before his countdown.
Wednesday, though, when I got to practice, he's out there with just a regular quarter zip. You know, he had his, no, just regular gear. And he was as content as could be. And I coach out in this all the time, and even I was a little miserable. But I'm watching him go through 9-on-7, and the practice was really physical. And I'm like, for a player, I guess, and a coach, you're probably living your best life. For an old spectator like me, I was miserable. I just loved the fact that they got a ton of reps in. It was super physical, and it was cold. I joked with Coach Rule later on in the day. I said, you know, what's your general rule of thumb with shorts? I said, why are you out here in shorts? He said, I'm always going to try to wear shorts. You know, sometimes I hop in a drill and I want to be active. And then if I can't wear shorts, then we're going inside. But that's always going to be the barometer. As long as I can wear shorts, we're going to be outside. And I just was like, hey, you got to be hoping for 30s and precip on Saturday night. And he said, bring on winter.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's good. They're going to embrace this weather because they've been out in it all week.
They're probably hoping the degrees drop a little bit before kickoff.
Plummet.
Kind of hard to replicate this out in L.A.
Yeah, plummet, temp, plummet.
We kind of had the opposite feeling when we played these guys last year. Like, man, it's November. I can wear shorts. I'm comfortable walking around with the temperatures. And once we get into the stadium, we're good. And then we can, kind of play ball from there. The kind of the opposite feeling this time around, which I kind of like.
Me too. And you're at home, and this is one of the few times that I don't really mind the night game because I want it to feel a certain way over time. Now, I know the players are going to be like, look, DB, we're trying to play this thing already. But tonight, with these conditions, with what potentially could be at stake, we'll wait. We'll wait.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up here in this first segment, and we've talked about this a few times, and I didn't realize until about Thursday, maybe Friday, and I was like, man, DB was totally right when he said this. Like, I feel like so much of this year, we talked about this, I think it was last week even, how when you look at, this game with USC or, getting a coaching extension, whatever the circumstance, this year has felt always about Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I felt that maybe more this week because it's easy to prep for these shows when you're playing a big opponent, right? And you're watching USC Notre Dame and you're watching these other games. It's just like, yeah, I'll watch it because I have to, but I kind of don't care. It felt like everything on the Nebraska side was more important. And I don't know if it was the rule news with the extension or whatever, the blackout, but it felt like everything was more towards us than it was to who's coming here, which is a little weird with a team like USC and Lincoln Riley and Maava and all these great players and these great talented players, Makai Lemon coming to Lincoln. Like, it's just easier to associate this from a Nebraska standpoint and everything that I thought this week. I don't know about you.
As the trajectory continues to move upward for this program, and you want them to be the program that this fan base has waited for, the more it's about Nebraska and not the opponent, the better this place is going to be. When we can get past the point where we're confident enough in the team that's going to come out through the tunnels and we're not, all doom and gloom. Well, what does this opponent have? And did you see what this opponent did? The less we stop talking about who they're playing, and the more we start talking about Nebraska, the better trajectory for this program.
And I feel like that was definitely, at least from my standpoint this week. I know you have felt that way over the course of the year, but it certainly ratchets the intensity when you're taking on a team like USC. And when they're coming into your own building, I mean, it certainly makes for a lot of excitement. And this is the one that you look at on the schedule when they're released and you circle and you go, yeah, that's going to be fun. And it's certainly going to be that way tonight, expecting an electric atmosphere. One other thing that I loved hearing from Coach Rule this week, Damon, is he doesn't really poo-poo or shy away from this. He embraces the fact that this is a big moment. He embraces that it's a big recruiting weekend and it's on prime time. It's against a big opponent. Like, so many coaches, just a nameless, faceless opponent. We've heard that so many times, but he kind of leans in.
I know you love that, don't you?
Yeah, so much. But he really leans into it, doesn't he? Yeah. It's almost refreshing to have coaches that are like, yeah, let's just call it what it is. Our kids are going to be excited for this game. Our fans are going to be excited for this game, and let's embrace the heck out of it. You could tell that just by watching Husker football social media this week.
Yeah, and you can tell he's the coach that particularly enjoys running into the burning building, and then we'll tell you why not after, and how many lives you can save. So he's not going to bat an eye, not going to blink. He's ultra competitive, and so these are the kinds of things that he came here for, and these are the kinds of things that he wants his players here for. Understand and embrace the moment.
And they will hopefully do that tonight. Nebraska and USC, 6:30 kickoff shortly after here in Lincoln. Going to be a good one between the Huskers and the Trojans, two college football powers going at it here in Lincoln. Always a fun matchup. Welcome to the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. We are off and rolling. Ben McLaughlin, Damon Benning with you. I want to thank our friends at Dakota Mac for sponsoring the show, as always, covering Husker Nation and beyond. Call on Dakota Mac to discuss all your ag financing needs. Learn more at dakotamac.com. We'll step aside for our first break. We got plenty more straight ahead.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
From Omaha to Ogallala, Nebraska is 2 million Huskers strong. And Medica has health plans to cover them all. From the farmer with a growing family, to the barista at the corner coffee shop, to the grandpa who gets his grandkids off to school. No matter where you are in life, we have health plans to meet your needs. We got your back. With Medica, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Find out more at medica.com. That's medica.com.
We got your back. SOS to the rescue.
Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. Their technicians don't earn commission. This equals fair treatment to their customers. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company, and now to celebrate the 75th year in business for a limited time, get a New York AC or furnace for $75 per month. Get you and your loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Call 402-391-2336.
Gary's Quick Steak is 100% sirloin and cooks from frozen in minutes.
Hi, my name is Gary Rower. I developed America's fastest cooking Philly steak from my 2 cheesesteak restaurant chains, one of which became a top 100 chain in the country. Faster means more great tasting meals in minutes. I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it. My Quick Steak can be found in stores near you or buy online.
Look for Gary's Quick Steak at your local grocery and club stores.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Boyd Minray from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637. Learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network. You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, Husker fans, some people just know how they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Welcome back to the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Ben McLaughlin, Damon Benning with you. We have you for the next 90 minutes before we hand things over to Kyle Crooks for countdown to kickoff. Hopefully he brought the hand warmers for the booth tonight. He wasn't particularly pleased with the temperature and the cold wind on his walk over from the garage, but we gotta shake the Gainesville out of him.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was pretty impressed.
That's a good start
with him out at practice Wednesday.
That's a good start.
He didn't look cold. He didn't act cold, and I'm telling you, it was just as miserable as it, if not worse, because it was overcast and drizzly. Like Wednesday morning practice was not good, and KC was fine.
Put the concerns to bed. By the way, we also have to give the biggest shout out to Nebraska's equipment staff this week.
Yeah,
all the boys.
those guys, the
Jay,
gals.
Kyle, Al, all the
working their tails off, right?
Like, people need to understand they have had to personally, with their own digits, re-tape and what do you call the things on the side? Decal.
Yeah.
Nebraska's helmets 3 different times in a month.
Incredible.
Every single helmet. It started with the pink in Minneapolis. Redo them all to get the red back on, red face mask, red stripe, red end, and then they got to do it all over again this week. And they had even more to do this week because it's a home game.
Yeah,
because everybody gets to dress.
And the versatility too. You need new stuff that's coming in, new equipment, new colors, like just the whole thing. And good on them for being flexible. They will have earned their rest.
Yeah. Well, they don't get any, but yeah, when that day comes,
maybe Monday.
Maybe. Well, Kyle's got a newborn at home, so that ain't happening.
Yeah.
But
bless his heart. He came in with at least half a smile earlier, so he'll be okay.
We take that. That's a win. But seriously, I mean, those guys, the players show up and everything is exactly what they need. They got their shoes, their equipment, their gear, their jerseys already on their pads. If you've ever seen their small army work on the road, I mean, Jay Terry has it down to a science. Those guys bust their tails, and so they hooked us up with some fancy new black hoodies. Most of us are wearing.
I will be.
Yours is coming.
Thank you.
Yours is en route.
When I didn't think you had one, I didn't
until 5 minutes ago.
I didn't want you to not be the only one, so I acquiesced. And then, of course, people, so you have a sweatshirt, and now I'm the one.
Yours is coming.
That has to recalibrate.
Yours is coming.
But I say all that to say, what's interesting? When I first, so as a player, it's different, right? You put your stuff, this was mesh bags, you put your stuff in.
Oh, my. All you have to say is mesh bags.
You put them in your little tiny locker, and you get it back the next day, and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like how this works. And you had a couple of pair of shoes, your jerseys, and you're like, oh, these guys, this is really nice. Somebody's doing our laundry. As you get older, you get more appreciative. Where it really kicked in was at Fordham during the bowl game, because it snowed in the morning really early. I think they wanted to practice a certain way. Then the snow happened. They finally got the field cleared, and we went into the locker room just to stay warm. They had to lay out like 4 different options for practice because they didn't know the field would take. Meanwhile, they're under the gun. They've got about 45 minutes to turn it around, and I'm thinking, oh, this is stressing me out, and I don't have to do anything. I'm just watching them. They would lay the outfits out. It was incredible, and I'm like, there's a lot of things we take for granted. Those guys shouldn't be one of them.
100%. And I hate being that dude that asks for stuff, especially of those guys. The best story ever is we're playing Wisconsin, and it was freezing. I had forgotten a hat, and my ears were as red as tomatoes. And I walk in, and I kind of like reluctantly, I don't even really utter a word, and Kyle just hands me a hat. He's like, I already know what you need. Take it and get out of here. I'm like, okay, yes, sir. I'm out of here. I'm out of your hair.
And he doesn't usually offer. It's not in his nature. He's always grinded.
That's
So
when you know it's
just
bad.
take it, yeah.
That's
Just
when you know it's bad.
Take the gift. He's not always in the giving mood.
Yeah, but we are here, appropriately dressed. Everybody in the studio has black on in regards to the blackout tonight. Let's go back to last week for a little bit, Damon, and talk Northwestern. I think at halftime, we're certainly kind of looking around, wondering how this thing was going to end. The end of the first half had you feeling a little bit better. And then the way that Nebraska played in those last two quarters, I think, was a great shot in the arm for not only the rest of that game, but the week of practice and preparation for SC. What stuck out to you on the rewatch when you kind of went back and thumbed through to Northwestern?
So I think two things. Number one, I really liked how Nebraska found a way to get stops and then start to generate their own third downs. Right, there was a stretch there where Northwestern was converting on third downs at an unusually high clip. How about
You got
that?
it.
Right,
That works.
And I said, hey, Nebraska's top 10 in the country and getting teams off the field. This trend has got to change. And they stopped Northwestern on 4 of the next 5 third down conversions. In the meantime, while they were at 1.1 of 7 converting third downs, they found a way to get 5 in a row. So just the ability to kind of to buck the trend and get back on track, to put drives together, to put you in position to kind of seal that thing, I love the resolve. The other thing was their mood never changed. Just their ability to stay engaged. They joked about fighting coming out of the half of who was going to get the lead back for them. Offense was excited but a little jealous that it was special teams that swung the momentum. The offense wanted the opportunity to do it. When you start competing like that within the units in a competitive, friendly manner, that's when good things can happen.
One of the first things that I noticed watching it back is 21 is special.
He's a good player.
And so is Emmett Johnson.
Yeah. He's a really good player.
You didn't get my joke. Right over your head.
I think you.
You could have been talking about Guthrie for all I know.
Well,
but
yeah, sure. He is too.
I tell you what, he's something else.
It's got to be so frustrating.
He's become kind of the human eraser.
It's got to be so frustrating playing against him because you think you got your face mask lined up in the middle of his chest, and the next thing you know, he's out the back door.
We're just watching the first guy never get him. How about how he outran a missed block on that third down? Right, just single-handedly. He's just a really good player. He's gotten a tremendous amount of development and repetitions and toughness mindsets from Coach Barthel, who needs to get a lot of credit for that development because there's two things, and there's three actually, and they can all be true. Number one, I think we agree that Emmett is clearly a better runner than he was even at the tail end of last year when it seemingly all the credit went to Dana Holgerson, right?
100%.
Number two, when the year first started, it was, well, what about the depth in the running back room? We need another number 2, and I don't know about Emmett. Can he carry the load? Well, clearly he's done that, right? You don't do any of that and have those questions answered without development going on in your program. They just don't. He trains a certain way. He practices a certain way. He's gotten much better with getting vertical and gaining ground while making moves. He's just a better player. And yeah, granted, some of that's on Emmett, right? He's a fantastic talent. A lot of that credit needs to go to Coach Barthel and that running back room too. And it's not just those two. It's the other guys that we see that pop long runs in practice and continue to nip at his heels that promote an environment of competitiveness too. It's well done across the board.
He won't have the career numbers as my comparison, but in terms of trajectory of your careers, it's Amir Abdullah.
Yeah.
I mean, Amir came in here as the number 3, number 4 guy.
And he was the but guy in the recruiting class.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He was number 3, number 4 in the room. Emmett was kind of the forgotten one, right? You go get a transfer from Oregon. You go bring in all these guys that are supposedly, supposed to be the bell cows of the offense, and there's one guy still standing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're all better off for that Emmett being that one guy standing, because he's gone to show that recruiting stars don't matter,
yep.
right? like my perseverance, my belief in myself and my teammates, and my head being in the right spot is going to win out. And it has. And the cool part for us is we get to see it manifest on the field, and Nebraska gets to benefit from having him in the locker room, being not only a great football player, but just an outstanding young man and a culture fit that all these recruits that are in here, not only today, but the rest of the season, they can look up to and say, I want to be just like that guy when I'm in college.
Yeah, I love the distinction in your description where he may not have the career stats, but the play and the journey is very, very similar. Even their running styles where – you know, Amir became the guy where we said he was really good and we were a little bit disrespectful of what was going on up front. Well, he makes more guys. He has the best 4 and 5 yard runs of anybody in Nebraska history, right? And he do have these Herculean efforts. But let's not forget, a lot like Emmett, who's come in with some other backs, and some other backs were supposed to be the guy. Remember at one point there was Rex Burkhead. There was this guy, Braylon Hurd. There was this guy, Aaron Green. Like, that running back room was pretty talented. I would watch these practices, and I'm thinking, this is going to be last man standing. And I love that same similar aspect about Braylon Hurd and his ability to go to work every single day.
And he's doing it with – it's one thing to do it when you've got the help of your quarterback who can run, right? And it makes it tougher to scheme around. Or, you know, you've got 2 or 3 pros on the O-line. Nebraska has had a revolving door the last couple of weeks with a variety of instances, whether it be a targeting or injuries, right? I mean, he's finally getting the carries that we're all hoping to get, and he's effective with them and effectively changing Nebraska's offense with what he's been able to do. And there's no question, Damon, that if Nebraska's going to win tonight, 21 better have his hands all over this game.
Yeah, I've kind of gone through all these scenarios in my head all week, and I'll ask you if, you know, does the winner have one or both of these? Yards per carry advantage, total yards, or both? What's the most important thing for a team when both teams, I think, want to run the football?
Yeah, see, that's a tough one because we'll get to USC in a minute. And I think there's one X factor in this that we'll talk about, and it's Lincoln Riley's decision-making. Like, I've rewatched that USC game more than a handful of times, and there's just some head-scratching things. USC might end up with both and might still lose.
Yeah,
but to answer your question, if Nebraska is able to have the YPC, to me that's a big indicator of how successful Nebraska is tonight.
Yeah.
Because of how SC wants to play. How SC wants to play defensively, and how they do generally play offensively. We'll get to some of the X factors of why this game could come down to a couple of decisions and not totals, or at least why I think that. But if Nebraska is having the yards per carry that they want, that means, one, you're opening up other things for Dana Holgorsen, but two, you're not having to wrestle with that question of, are we sticking with the run enough?
Yeah, so here's the thing, too. I have this thing that I mapped out in my head where if Nebraska ends up with more yards, even if it's at 3.6 or 4 yards a carry, number one, that probably means they've committed to the run. But number two, does that mean that they've possessed the ball as well? Because SC's expected yards per drive are tops in the country.
Statistically, SC doesn't make any sense.
Right? And I get the Lincoln Riley, because that's how the fan base in Southern Cal feels. Well, offensively, we should be X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the third, but there are always a handful of things that happen during the course of the game, whether it's a fourth down conversion or going for it versus taking the points, or
a wide receiver reverse pass.
Yeah. Maybe there is some of that in him tonight.
Let's hope so. That'd be good. Let's outthink the room. Yeah. Generally not a good idea when you and I try to do it.
No.
Hopefully when
at least one of us
when Lincoln Riley tries to do it here tonight. Coaches make substitutions during the game. to get the best player on the field. Getting behind the wheel after drinking also demands a substitution. Sober drivers are the only choice. Impaired driving is deceptively dangerous. From the NDOT Highway Safety Office. There's already a lot of foot traffic around the stadium. People excited for this one. Let's get our first check of the traffic. Here's Trooper Brett.
Good afternoon, Husker fans. Troopers are assisting with a significant four-vehicle crash near mile marker 402 on I-80 westbound. That'll be just east of I-180. The State Patrol will be temporarily closing the far right lane of travel, so be prepared to merge left. Anticipate slowdowns and delays in the area, as well as Highway 77 near the I-80 westbound on-ramp. If you are westbound on I-80, you may want to consider exiting at Highway 6 near Waverly or the 27th Street exit to avoid the area. A blackout on the road is much different than a blackout on the field. If alcohol is part of your game day experience, make sure you have a sober driver to get you home. This is Trooper Brett with the Nebraska State Patrol and the Huskers Radio Network. This message is sponsored by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here, fall means two things, harvest and football. Just like Nebraska, you run on something powerful. Diesel for your farm, gas in your tank, or propane heating your home. Sap Bros keeps your farm and family fueled. We're kicking off with a Big Red giveaway. Enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits when you contract fuel with Sap Bros. And when Nebraska wins, you win. Score a free king-size Reese's in the Sap app. Whether you're hauling harvest or headed to the game, Sap Bros fuels Nebraska.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
In Nebraska, the good life means mornings that wait for you. A porch swing or a skyline view. Work that matters and time that's yours. Neighbors who wave. Hey there. Stars you can almost touch. A mortgage that makes sense. More space, more time, more life. Nebraska, the good life is calling. Are you ready to answer? Learn more about living in Nebraska at www.thegoodlifeiscalling.com.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
Husker pride isn't just in the stands. It's in the fuel that gets the Big Red to every game. Thanks to Nebraska farmers and the soy checkoff, Husker team buses now run on clean, renewable biodiesel made from Nebraska soybeans. It cuts emissions, supports farmers, and keeps the Husker pride rolling all season long. Biodiesel, fueling the Big Red mile after mile. Brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers and the soy checkoff.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Boyd Minnery from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637 to learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play, knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome into this week's Cornhusker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. I'm Jessica Cootie and excited to welcome in the senior tight end, Hinrich Harber, here for this week's episode. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, another win, back in the win column. How did that one feel? I know you guys were really disappointed after the Minnesota loss, but to put one together and walk off the field where everybody contributed and to get back in the win column, how was that on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it was really cool just to see throughout the week all the progress, all the work that we put into becoming the team that I think we showed we were on Saturday. It wasn't pretty all the time, but we just gritty and able to pull out the win.
How has this team been? You guys do the Tell the Truth Sundays. How has this team been in accepting that and learning from the things that you guys do when you're going back and rewatching a game?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of growth from the first year that Coach Rule got here to this year. At first it can feel like on those days, especially after a loss like Minnesota, it can feel like you're being attacked personally if you don't have the right mindset going into it. So I think we've grown a lot, and a lot of those young guys have seen kind of the standard on how to take those Sundays and keep moving forward and continue to grow.
Coach Rule talked about this time a year ago, when you get to 6, it's a whole different story. But different kind of expectations for this team this year, right? I mean, it's a milestone in college football, but you guys want more than just that 6th win, right?
Absolutely. I think, last year it was a grind to get to 6. And, after so many years of not being able to hit it, it kind of felt like, oh my gosh, we finally did it. But I think just this whole off season, before this year, we raised our expectations so high that honestly for me, I didn't even realize that was 6 wins. We're bowl eligible. After Saturday, I was just, okay, it was a great win. But we got to continue, we're trying to win out. We're trying to go do these huge things. It's great to celebrate, but can't get caught up in that.
Okay, so we chatted with you after the Maryland win, and you were really emotional, really fired up. What were the emotions for you when you guys go win a big one on the road at Maryland? Why were you kind of reacting in that way? A lot of times you're not that guy that shows a lot of the emotion, so why was it coming out for you in that win over Maryland?
I think personally for me, I think there's a little bit of it was just kind of selfishly. I was able to contribute, and you make that play on the sideline. And so, being able to feel like I had a part in that. And I think also just so many years of not being able to pull out those games, especially on the road. And you're finally being able to feel like, I was able to help us do that. So I think that was a big part of it. But I think also just the feeling of we never faltered on the sideline. We never there's never usually in the past, you could kind of feel oh no, here we go again. There was just none of that. And we just kept we continued to just move and say what's next.
How have you liked playing tight end?
It's been a great experience. There's so much growth. Every single day, it's just continually trying to make just not even leaps and bounds, just at this point, just taking steps every single day on blocking, on route running, on, just all these different things. It's not as minuscule as it was when I was at quarterback. It was at quarterback, there's little things, but right now I'm just, there's just these bigger things I'm trying to work on.
I remember talking to you after the win in the bowl game, and you said got a long way to go in terms of the blocking part of it. How do you feel in that and the growth in that area of your game?
I feel like I've kind of, if anything, I've been able to figure out how to translate that physicality from running the football and, the willingness just to put my face in it, just continue to work on that. Obviously, there's a lot of technique that it'll take, years. It takes, guys never stop working on it. George Kittle, all those great blocking tight ends and in the NFL, they never stop working at it. So I know that's something that I'm going to have to chase for a little bit, but, I'm excited for it.
So take me back to the conversation that you started to have with Coach Rule about maybe the position switch and why you were open to it.
Yeah, I think, last year I sat down and I evaluated what do I want out of football. I'd known that really my ultimate goal was to go play at the highest level. And so I sat down and, started just kind of listing off, is it realistic for me to, continue to progress in the way that I need to make the NFL as a quarterback? I think possibly. I think it would have been a monumental leap that would have had to occur in a year. I don't possibly, but I think that looking at my abilities and my traits, I think just tight end was the better path for me to accomplish that goal.
So then what did, when you had that conversation, what I guess, who was the first person that you talked to about it? And then when you called Dylan, what was his reaction to it? Yeah,
I think it was kind of a smoother transition. Like, it wasn't like really abrupt. Mm-hmm. Mostly because, Dylan had settled into that role last year of, playing quarterback, and, they were still trying to find ways to get me on the field. And so it just slowly evolved from, and there's still some stuff, like even this year where I'll line up at quarterback just because I have that ability to take snaps, to do whatever. So, I slowly just kind of, it all came together and it kind of merged into, towards the end of the year last year, I was doing a little bit of both. And then finally after Iowa, started going to tight end meetings, and learning more like that base tight end stuff, a lot of the run blocking stuff, starting to learn how to run routes, and not just try and run, I guess. So that's kind of how that transition worked.
Because I asked that because I remember during the bowl preparation, Dana Holgerson talked about how comfortable Dylan was throwing you the ball throughout those practices. What was it like the first time you go out there to run routes and he's throwing you the football? It
was really bizarre. Like, it felt like, ever since I've been, I think ever since I started playing football, like at the end of practice, or after practice, I would go out and I love running routes. I love just kind of feeling that, I love running. And so feeling just, after practice, just running those routes. So it kind of felt like that for a little bit. And then it finally started to click, like, okay, like you can't just run right at guys. You kind of have to, not create a route, but it's not going to be straight lines all the time like it is, after, like you got to kind of be artistic, I guess.
You played a little bit of receiver in high school, right?
Yes. So my freshman year, Matt Masker, who broke all of Coach Frost's passing records and stuff. Like he was a starting quarterback for Kearney Catholic, and he's a great guy. Amazing football player, but an even better guy. But so he was a senior and I was a freshman, and I was getting ready to play quarterback, but it was kind of the same thing as last year. My high school coach was like, okay, well, we can't just have you sitting on the bench. Get out there and run a couple go routes, and so it was a little bit of that, but nothing too crazy.
Was the pass catching the most natural for you?
I think so. I think quarterbacks just. When you think about how many times quarterbacks take snaps, especially in the gun, like that hand-eye coordination, especially you get to this level, half the time you aren't really looking at the snap as it's coming in. You just get so used to putting your hands where the snap is, that I think that helped me a lot. And then also how many times you play catch, just thousands upon thousands of reps of catching balls before you throw it back. So I think that came pretty naturally. There's still some stuff that it's a little bit different when you can feel a safety coming down, you can't turn your hands or something, you can't try and body catch it just because you're scared, you still have to extend. So there's still a little bit of learning curve to that, but I'd say that was one of the easier things.
When you make this decision, almost a year ago now, did you expect that you'd have as big of a role in just a short year for this offense and in this new position?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. And, at the time, we still had, that tight end room was full. There's a lot of really talented guys. Carter was starting to transition over too. So, I wasn't really sure what my role would look like. But I mean, I wasn't, that didn't deter me at all. I knew all I can do is just try and develop every single day and, hopefully get an opportunity to put some good stuff on film and, maybe get a chance at the next level.
It's been awesome to watch on the sideline when you have those big blocks. I mean, everybody is so fired up about it. Did you expect to be so excited when you lay down as the big blocks that you have done and been a part of this year?
I think like I said earlier, as I started to figure out like that blocking is just like, it's kind of like putting your head down and trying to run through somebody. I do enjoy that. I think it's one of the only times like, you can be that physical and, not get arrested, I guess. So I think there's some times where, that those are exciting blocks, but, you have to make sure that you use the correct technique. Like you can't just like go screaming in, like, bending at the waist and just get thrown. You still have to remember that, there's usually a running back or someone right off your butt. So you have to, create a base and, continue to drive them after you make contact. So that's what I've been working on.
What is that like, though, on the sideline when you come back and you've been on the quarterback side of things, you've been running the football, but when you are on the other side of it and you go back and you look at those iPads and everybody is just going crazy on something that you've done that there's a different part of the play than maybe you've been in the past?
Absolutely. I mean, it's really cool, especially, I don't know if maybe it's just so new. I don't really realize it sometimes. Like the Houston Christian one, I think, was like I didn't realize how loud it was until like I saw a replay of it on the TV copy, and like you can hear like it sounds like a crack. I mean, almost like a gunshot. Like, and so like that's a little like I didn't realize like that, and so being able to go back and look at that stuff is it's pretty cool.
So when you decided to make the transition, you have a special connection with a pretty good tight end that Super Bowl champion, All-Pro, College Football Hall of Fame. Tell us about Jay Novacek and the role that he played when you started having those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really cool connection. I think it was right after the Iowa game we started going to the bowl game, and I think maybe it was my dad had a buddy who was friends with Jay, and he had texted me and asked, "Hey, is it okay if I give your number to Jay Novacek?" And, I'm going to be honest, like I had heard of the name before. I didn't really like understand like how good of a player Jay was and like the impact that like he had. So I kind of went and looked it up. I was like, absolutely, like I would love to get in contact with Jay. And so we texted before the bowl game, and then after the bowl game texted a little bit more. Actually got on a call and just talked about some stuff. And then over the summer, I was able to finally connect with him down in Dallas. We got to work out for, I think, 2 days. So just having that connection and like how, like, just like listening to him and like what he talks about. I mean, it doesn't matter what era you play in. If you're that good, there's so many things to take from him. So.
What was his number one piece of advice for being successful at the tight end position?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. He kind of got on a little bit of a roll for a little bit. And so I was just trying to like gather like everything as much as I could. Cause I mean, as you can imagine, I was swimming in it a little bit. But I think just like for him, just like having that connection with the quarterback and like if you don't know what to do, like you can't, be creative with it. And that's kind of what he talked about was like he got to a point in his career where he'd put his own little twist on things. But he was so dialed in with Troy Aikman that they just knew what was going to happen, and Troy just put it right on him.
Could you relate to that because you felt that when you were on the other side of it? When you were the quarterback?
I think so. I mean, I think I felt that a little bit with Thomas Fidone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Thomas and I had spent I mean, we'd been throwing together since sophomore year of high school. And so there's times where, I mean, I kind of knew what Thomas was going to do, or like where to put the ball for Thomas. And, I think there's a little bit of that I connected with, but it's really cool to hear from him.
You could have left to play quarterback somewhere else, and you've talked about this, just that your loyalty is big for you, and you wanted to be loyal to this program and be a part of this. Where does that come from for you, that you're wired that way, where you wanted to stay here and stick it out here, and even if that meant a position switch?
I think a lot of it came from growing up, and, my dad didn't really talk about when he played here that much. He didn't really share that many stories, but I knew that was something that he was proud of. And unfortunately his career got cut short, severed a nerve in his neck in his second year here. So I couldn't go, there's no clips of my dad. But I remember going online and trying to find any piece of information I could about him and trying to see that. And, I think just thinking about in 15, 20 years when I have kids, or, when I have kids growing up, I want them to be able to look up, Hinrich Harber highlights or whatever it is, and, be proud of their dad. I think take a lesson from me on loyalty, like you said. It's not about, chasing money or, whatever that is. Money will come and go. I'm not worried about that. I really I think the most important thing to me was the legacy that I could leave here.
Oh, that's great. It gives me chills. How special is it to share this with your dad then?
It's really cool. I mean, I think it's, we don't really talk about it that much, but I think it's kind of, I didn't tell him when I committed, how big of a part that was. Cause he told me when I was in that recruiting process, don't go to Nebraska because I went there, pick the spot that's best for you. But deep down, there's always a little piece of me that I could kind of feel I wanted to continue that legacy for him. It's something that he didn't get to continue. And I know that probably hurt him a lot, but
your story and what you've just talked about, Husker Nation loves and they appreciate so much. Do you hear some of the roars that you get from Husker Nation?
I do. It's harder in the game to really appreciate it because you're in my mind, you go into the game and you're trying to block someone and or you catch a touchdown. I'm not worried about. I obviously I appreciate it. I don't want anyone to think that I don't. But in the moment, I'm so, I think I love to celebrate with my teammates. And, I think just all the progress, all the work that I've put in the off season with those guys, that's really in the moment what I care about the most. But it is really cool to, like I said, on some of those TV copies, you can hear it and, that is awesome to hear.
Got to be pretty neat, maybe a full circle moment for you. I mean, you were cheering in the stands like that at one point for somebody else, and now they're doing it for you. It is really cool. I think sometimes I'll we'll be coming out of the tunnel walk, and I'll look up and find the spot that I sat in one spot for 3 years straight, or there's a couple of different spots. I remember one of the first games I remember was sitting with my grandpa, in some certain seats, and he's had those seats forever. But looking up and they're kind of at the top row of the south section, and so just remembering those, and even when we're running, we'll run the south stadium sometimes, and thinking about we'll run right past the seats, it is it gives me chills sometimes, just kind of imagining 10-year-old Hinrich sitting right there, just kind of how cool and how proud he would be. That's amazing. All right, well, let's circle back, talk this week. you got the win, but I know you after the game, locker room, Coach Rule, still lots of things to improve on. What are some of the things for offensively you guys are really focusing on this week before you head into this matchup with USC?
I think a lot of it is just like the physicality, continuing to build on it. In everything that we do, like as tight ends, it's run blocking, it's chipping the ends, it's whatever it is, trying to affect the defense. And when you do that, you give your quarterback more time. Every time that you hit a defensive end, hopefully it prevents them from rushing the passer harder the next play. So just trying to give Dylan more time and continuing to run the ball really well, I think is important for us this week.
Speaking of that, how about Emmett Johnson and the season he's having?
It's unbelievable, though. Especially, sometimes like I'll be blocking and all of a sudden I'll just kind of feel everyone run past me, and you see Emmett just like darting every single which way, like break this guy, run over this guy, and then fall forward for like 8 more yards. It's like, oh my gosh, and so that's really cool to see. And I know like how much work he's put in, like how far he's come. Like even if you think about like going back to this point last year, like I don't know if Emmett had really like emerged yet, as he was still fighting for reps. And so just the role that he's taken on and like the load that he carries every single Saturday. Okay, so
what are kind of the biggest keys in this one for you guys against this USC defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're USC. They're a perennial powerhouse. They can recruit. They've got athletes all over the field, but I believe that we match up just as well with them. I think we have athletes everywhere too, and so there's no fear, but it's all respect. We know that they're going to come in here and, they want to run the ball too, and their defense wants to get after the passer. And, they got gashed, by Notre Dame. And, they're probably going to come in here thinking to stop the run too. So I think, like I said, it's all about physicality and taking it to them. They're a tough squad, so it doesn't matter what the weather is. I think they're going to come ready to play.
You excited for a night game inside Memorial, a blackout? It's going to be pretty cool in there.
It's awesome. I mean, like even today at practice, after practice, you look up, like you see the black flag, and it's just like that kind of I think triggered something in me, like, oh, like this is going to be like. They're for real about this. Like, this is a blackout. Like, we're wearing black. Hopefully the whole stadium's wearing black. And it's by 6:30. I think 6:30 is the kickoff. Like, it'll be dark. And so, it'll be a really cool environment. But at the end of the day, it's 11 on 11. So.
This crowd can help, though, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And I should take it back. I heard Coach Rule's comment about the, obviously A&M has the 12th man thing, and but I think the coolest thing I see on like the Jumbotron is like the statistic about fan when
they cause the
fan, yes,
the penalties.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. Like as we continue through the season, like that has a huge effect. Like 5 yards on first down, like people don't realize like how big of a change that is in an offensive coordinator's like, oh, like it's 1st and 15 now. Like shoot, like now I can't just like run the ball 3 times and like maybe get a first down. Like I gotta air it out a little bit, and that gives us a chance to, sack the quarterback.
Great stuff. What a great conversation. Appreciate you spending some time, and best of luck this weekend against USC.
Thank you.
Tight end Hinrich Harber here with us on this week's Cornhusker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Boyd Minray from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637. Learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
This is Husker Gameday, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Here, fall means two things, harvest and football. Just like Nebraska, you run on something powerful. Diesel for your farm, gas in your tank, or propane heating your home. Sap Bros keeps your farm and family fueled. We're kicking off with a Big Red giveaway. Enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits when you contract fuel with Sap Bros. And when Nebraska wins, you win. Score a free king-size Reese's in the Sap app, whether you're hauling harvest or headed to the game. Sap Bros fuels Nebraska.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
Everywhere you look, Nebraska soybeans are making life better in ways you probably wouldn't expect. They're in your car tires, the paint on your walls, and even the firefighting foam that helps keep our communities safe. From motor oil to shoes to asphalt, Nebraska soybeans are driving innovation, replacing petroleum with cleaner, smarter, sustainable solutions. Nebraska soybeans, hard at work all around us. Brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers and the Soy Checkoff.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
You're listening to Husker Gameday, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Matt Coatney back with you on our Dakota Mac Husker Gameday show. Time now for a Nebraska Lottery scoreboard update. From the Greg Sharp radio booth, 12 of the Big Ten teams are in action this weekend, including a big one in the early window at the Horseshoe at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, and Buckeye quarterback Julian Sand had a big day in the Horseshoe.
Penn State showing blitz again. Snap to Sand. Fakes a reverse. Looks to throw from his own 45. Slings that deep down the right side for Carnell Tate, who runs under it and grabs it and lunges into the end zone for a touchdown. Carnell Tate had a defender on him, and as he went down the right side, he got beyond Zion Tracy, and a 45-yard TD pass. Julian Sand to Carnell Tate.
That's Paul Keels on Buckeyes radio from Learfield. He threw 4 scoring passes, 2 of them to Jeremiah Smith, and the top-ranked Buckeyes stayed undefeated with a 38-14 win over Penn State. Rutgers at Illinois, the Illini offense was too much for the Scarlet Knights today.
And a snap to Altmaier. Looks to throw deep right. Looking to the end zone. Over the shoulder catch attempt. It is caught. Touchdown, Illinois. Hudson Clement. My goodness, what a great catch. And what a throw by Altmaier.
That's Brian Barnhart on Illini Radio from Learfield. Luke Altmaier threw 4 TD passes as Illinois evens their Big Ten record at 3-3 with a 35-13 win over Rutgers. Number 9, Vanderbilt. At number 20, Texas, Arch Manning completed 25 of 33 passes for 328 yards and 3 scores. Texas defeated Vandy 34-31. The Longhorns scored on the first play of the game, and they led throughout, but they survived a furious late rally by the Commodores. Number 10, Miami at SMU. The Mustangs hadn't defeated a top 10 opponent at home since 1974, but they were tied at 20 with 10th-ranked Miami in overtime with a chance to pull the major upset.
Jennings in the shotgun, Harden to his right. Stone Eby blocking back to the left. Handoff, TJ Harden! Touchdown! Who's the U today? It's SMU for the win, 26-20.
Who's the U today? Rich Phillips with the question of the day on Mustangs Radio from Learfield. SMU extended head coach Rhett Lashley yesterday, and today they handed the Hurricanes their second ACC loss, 26-20 in overtime. West Virginia at number 22, Houston, Scotty Fox Jr. threw for 157 yards, accounted for 3 scores as West Virginia upset 22nd-ranked Houston in Texas, 45-35. The Mountaineers improved to 3-6. The Cougars fall to 7-2. Duke at Clemson in Death Valley. The Blue Devils scored in the final seconds to pull within 1. They went for 2 and the win, and after a disputed pass interference call was made, they converted to defeat the Tigers 46-45. Clemson falls to 3-5 overall. Duke is 5-3 and 4-1 in the ACC. It's Duke's first win at Clemson since 1980. UCF at Baylor. Sawyer Robertson threw for 3 scores. Caden Knighton ran for 104 yards, and Baylor blew out Scott Frost and the Golden Knights 30-3. Army at Air Force. The game was tied at 17 apiece, and the Black Knights had a chance to walk it off.
27-yard field goal attempt for the sophomore Dawson Jones. Spotted between the hashes. Allen looks back at Jones. Now toward Walter. Snap, ball is down. Kick is up. Plenty of distance. And it's good. It is good. Army has defeated Air Force here at Falcon Stadium 20-17 on the final play of the game. Dawson Jones wins it for the Black Knights.
That's Rich DeMarco on Black Knights Radio. The Cadets go on the road and defeat the Air Force Academy 20-17 on a game-winning field goal. Arizona State at Iowa State. The Sun Devils are without QB1 Sam Levitt due to a season-ending injury, but former Husker Jeff Sims led ASU to their 6th win of the season, 24-19 over Iowa State. The Cyclones are 5-4 after starting the season 5-0, including a win over Iowa. They're at the half. In Blacksburg, Virginia Tech is upsetting number 16 Louisville 16-7. Number 2 Indiana in College Park with 4 minutes left in the second quarter leads Maryland 17-3. And what they used to call the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, Florida is upsetting number 5 Georgia 10-7. 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Number 12 Notre Dame leads Boston College 6-0 late in the first half. Late in the first half in Manhattan, 13th-ranked Texas Tech has a 9-7 lead over Kansas State, and Minnesota leads Michigan State 10-0. They are almost to halftime up in Minnesota, and that is a look at a very full college football scoreboard. Let's send it back to Ben and DB.
Thank you, Coat. Wow, the U and SMU. He had that dialed up, didn't he? That was something else. What a call. And Army wins, so walk-off field goal for those guys. And why did we stop calling it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party?
I don't know. I think the innuendo of just public debauchery and lack of sobriety.
That's what they do.
Was maybe frowned upon.
I don't think that
you can't have shootouts. There's no cocktail parties and there's no brawls.
I don't think the consumption has gone down just from the name change. But I live in Nebraska, so what do I know? 10-7 Gators.
Yeah. The struggle is real.
It is.
Florida is one of the best first-half football teams in the country, though. And they just typically can't play well in second halves because they find ways to be more of who they have been, which is turn the ball over late. But they've always been really good defensively. They're in the top 2-3, in my opinion, defenses in the SEC. It's a good defensive team.
How about the job Rhett Lashley has done?
Yeah, he got paid. And the unspoken thing about SMU, and that Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area and SMU in general, they don't want for anything fiscally. I mean, he's in a conference in which he has a chance to win. He's got a super fertile recruiting ground, and he has more money than he could ask for. There is a ton of money at SMU.
I can't look at them and not think of the Pony Express.
Yeah, excess for those of you playing at home.
The 30.
I'm a big E. Dick guy. Like Eric Dickerson he's in my fave 5 of running backs of all time.
That was a great documentary.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe one of the best, if not the best, that they did in that series.
Not so much a Craig James guy, but I mean, I used to watch Dickerson before I knew I was going to do anything with media or anywhere else. He was like a lot like O.J. Simpson, where he would say things like, "It's raining and the grass is slippery out here. Back to you in the booth." Or, it's 101 degrees out. The players are sweating out here. Back to you in the booth. You'd be like, ooh, hard hitting.
Yeah.
Hard hitting. But it's probably why he didn't do the job very long. But I was a huge Dickerson fan as a runner.
Yeah, great back. Obviously had a nice career in the NFL also. And they're good. SMU is good.
Yeah.
And the U found that out today, winning on their home field over Miami. Big win for them.
Getting a ton of points, too. I think they may have been double-digit dogs.
That's a big number.
Yeah, so we saw 2 outright winners. I think SMU was close. West Virginia won. I might have a third for you later. Keep an eye on Wake Forest down at Tallahassee.
I usually believe you when you pull these.
The Demon Deeks will give FSU all they want.
Most have this year. Should
FSU be favored by 10 over anyone?
Probably not. I might just hop on the Deacon bandwagon with you tonight. Let's roll.
Go
Stick
Deeks.
with the black theme for one more game.
Let's go.
Give me those people.
Let's go.
But yeah, this is one of the things that I love about late night kickoffs is we've got football on in the studio. It was weird watching Ohio State, Penn State this morning and having zero conversation about that game.
Yeah, I mean, leading up to it, and how the wheels have fallen off in Happy Valley, and they played it tough. That defense can only do so much. Just couldn't find ways to score. Ohio State is interesting. One of the best defenses in the country. Came into today giving up 5.9 points a game. And offensively, they're throwing it around the yard. I wonder if the inability to have consistency in the run game will catch up with them. Maybe it might not be till later on in the year, but they're an interesting team. Defensively, they're going to get lights out. Offensively, we know they can throw it.
Number 4 can catch it.
Will they need to be able to run it?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how everybody's records shake out at the end with the conference championships and then, of course, the seeding. This tournament's going to the playoff's going to get interesting this year. Yeah. There's going to be some shockers, I think, in the final score department when that rolls around. It's just been a wildly unpredictable year.
Yeah. Is Indiana still in a dogfight? What's this? Last time I checked, it was 10-3, maybe?
It's 17-3.
Is it 17-3?
I think it's 17-3.
Yeah. That Hornet's Nest known as CQ Stadium?
Signetti's just toying with his food.
Is that what it is?
Doing. Yeah. I mean, that dude has zero cares about much of anything.
Yes, zero. That is correct.
Well, headed to a 6:30 kickoff tonight, about 2.5 hours to kickoff here at Memorial Stadium. We just peeked outside. People are here. They have followed the assignment of wearing black, and I'm getting really excited to see what this atmosphere is going to entail here in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's going to be electric here tonight. Our Dakota Mac Husker Game Day show. Whether you're a farmer, rancher, investor, or simply a Husker fan, look to Dakota Mac for your ag financing needs. Visit dakotamac.com to learn more. We'll take a break. Damon and I back to discuss today's opponent, the USC Trojans. Some interesting stuff when you peel back the layers of USC's season statistically to this point, comparatively to their talent. And, of course, yes, Lincoln Riley still calling the plays for the men of Troy. So we'll get into that coming up next.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
This is Big Red Football.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Here, fall means two things: harvest and football. Just like Nebraska, you run on something powerful. Diesel for your farm, gas in your tank, or propane heating your home. Sap Bros keeps your farm and family fueled. We're kicking off with a Big Red giveaway. Enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits when you contract fuel with Sap Bros. And when Nebraska wins, you win. Score a free king-size Reese's in the Sap app, whether you're hauling harvest or headed to the game. Sap Bros fuels Nebraska.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Boyd Minray from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637. Learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network. You're listening to Husker Gameday, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Cornerstone Bank is committed to providing you game-changing solutions for your financial needs. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank member, FDIC equal housing lender. This is the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show on the Huskers Radio Network. Ben McLaughlin, Damon Benning with you as we inch closer to kickoff between Nebraska and nationally ranked USC. Let's talk a little Trojans now, DB. They're interesting to watch when you go back and kind of dissect what they have on both sides of the football this year. Offensively, Lincoln Riley's still Lincoln Riley. He gets the ball in his playmakers' hands. They do a lot of fun things with it. Some curious decisions at times, but they still rack up yards. They move it. They give teams all they want offensively, and I think the biggest thing when I watch them is they put the defense in a lot of conflict. And I mean, I noticed 3 things that they like to do. I want to know if you're kind of in the same camp. I set the over-under at 2.5 on how many plays it takes for them to run a screen pass.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, you're going to be right there. Considering there's 3 downs to get 1, I'm going to probably have to take the under. You'll see double-digit screens, right? They're good at counting, so they know.
We're not. They
can count to 7, right? 5 in the box, 6 in the box, 7 in the box. They like a light box. If it's a light box, it's an automatic run. 7 or more, it'll be a run-pass option. That's where you get the screens. And then you'll get the run shot plays. Now, what Nebraska has to stop is their counter run game. They will do it with guard tackle. They will do it with 2 tight ends. They can give you 5 down blocks and come back with 2 tight ends and a kick out. You will see a ton of counter. Really good backs. They're very patient. And this is an athletic, long offensive line. They aren't big maulers. They're positional guys. So Nebraska's going to have to play with penetration and good discipline. Take pullers on. Don't take the path of least resistance. If they do that, they got a chance. And with the RPO game, stop the run first. Make them throw it out there on the screen. Don't allow them to hand the ball off and run.
2 other things that stuck out to me pretty early on. Remember, we saw Maeva in his first real action, replacing Miller Moss last year out in L.A., and that guy compared to the guy that we're watching now looks like a completely different quarterback. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how fast he grew up, how in control he looks. I've been very impressed with him this year. But I think a lot of what they want to do in the pass game revolves around number 6, Mekhi Lemon. I mean, that dude can do a lot of different things. And the thing that impresses me about Lincoln Riley, DB, is they're able to put him in the slot. They'll put him tight to the line of scrimmage. They'll put him outside. They put him in a lot of different spots, and he's going to test Nebraska's secondary in a lot of different ways.
He's got to be one of the tops in the country when he works in the slot. I mean, he's a nightmare. You give him a 2-way go. He's got really good change of directions. He's a fantastic route runner. Kind of gives you – he's got that Gumby appeal where he doesn't run routes like he has bones in his body. So I think for Nebraska, one of the key matchups is Sierra Wright, where when Mekhi Lemon – or when he's in the slot and Sierra Wright is in the nickel, how that matchup works. Nebraska can win on the outside with some of their defensive backs. I think Lemon is the guy that they have to take away. Jacoby can get his, but you just can't let Lemon kill you.
One thing that we'll say on the defense here, very aggressive. They're not a, we talk about Minnesota and Iowa. They are what they are. USC is maybe on the opposite ends of the spectrum. They know what they're not, and so they try to generate havoc by putting guys in different spots, exotic blitzes. Communication from the O-line is going to be big tonight. Dylan's going to need to know where his pressures are coming from because USC will almost sacrifice 4, 5, or 6 bad plays for one good one defensively, and hopefully that good one gives the ball to their offense.
Yeah, I think the 2 guys, you got to stop Anthony Lucas up front, edge rusher, kind of a havoc wreaker. And Nebraska's had to shore up their tackle play. So I think Lucas is a guy that you have to get a good beat on and know where he is. Then the other guy, Nebraska needs a knight to their Bishop, right? Where Bishop Fitzgerald is a guy that patrols the middle for them, a really good rangy safety. Nebraska's intermediate passing game has to neutralize him because I think Nebraska can win outside the numbers against these corners. You have to find where Bishop Fitzgerald is.
Ball hawk.
Yes, he is.
He's got a nose for the
Yes, he does.
I mean, we say that term a lot, nose for the football, but he is always
good football
around
player.
the ball. He's a guy that's gonna make plays and really the catalyst to that defense. When I watch him, the guy knows what he's doing and he knows where to be and knows his way around the hash marks. So a little bit on SC tonight. Lincoln Riley is certainly, trying to make it go, and he's going to be controlling things, and they're going to move the ball. They always have been able to do that.
Number 1 in the country, BMAC, in expected yards gained on a drive. Means if they start on the 25 they go 75 yards.
But the points is the one that's the
number one
that can be elusive. But yeah, they are very good, very talented, and Coach Butler and that defense will have their hands full. Game preparation and repetition predict success in winning. Drivers and vehicle passengers who always use their seatbelts will increase their survival chances if a crash should happen. Remember to always make it click from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Let's get another check of our traffic. Here's Trooper Brett.
Good afternoon, Nebraska fans. As folks continue to make their way towards tonight's blackout, we're starting to see congestion pick up in spots. Troopers are now in the cleanup stages of the 4-vehicle crash that occurred near mile marker 402 on I-80 westbound. While the vehicles are being removed and all lanes are open, anticipate residual slowdowns in the area. We're also seeing stop-and-go traffic on I-180 near the stadium. It's backed up to Sun Valley Boulevard. If you're entering Lincoln from the west, consider using Highway 77 southbound to Rosa Parks Way. A blackout in the stands at Memorial Stadium is an awesome sight, but that means fans walking around downtown may be harder to spot. Put your phone down, keep your eyes on the road, and pay close attention to pedestrians. This is Trooper Brett with the Nebraska State Patrol on the Huskers Radio Network. This message is sponsored by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Here, fall means two things, harvest and football. Just like Nebraska, you run on something powerful. Diesel for your farm, gas in your tank, or propane heating your home. Sap Bros keeps your farm and family fueled. We're kicking off with a Big Red giveaway. Enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits when you contract fuel with Sap Bros. And when Nebraska wins, you win. Score a free king-size Reese's in the Sap app, whether you're hauling harvest or headed to the game. Sap Bros fuels Nebraska.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Boyd Minray from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637. Learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome to Tunnel Walk Through Time, a segment where we reflect on Husker football games of the past. I'm Camden Cohn. Today, we travel back to September 19th, 1970. 54 years ago, the 9th-ranked Cornhuskers hit the road to take on the 3rd-ranked USC Trojans. Nebraska was 1-0 following a 36-12 win over Wake Forest, while the Trojans were coming off of a 42-21 victory against Alabama. It was a highly anticipated matchup, and it took both sides a while to get going. Neither team was able to put together a drive in the first quarter, as both defenses had their way early on. But early in the second quarter, the NU offense started to find a rhythm. On 5 plays, they worked the ball down to the USC 17. From there, Nebraska got tricky.
First down, 10 to go. Nebraska at the Trojan 17-yard line. No score, second quarter. They're in the spread. The Cornhuskers with the ball. Taggy pitches out over there. Nice is going to throw. He throws complete and it's touchdown. Man, woman, and child. Bob DeManny pulled one out of the hat there. Dan Snipe threw the ball. Taggy pitched to Snipe. Snipe threw the triangle to hit at the goal line, but he went in and got the TD.
That got Nebraska on the board in a 7-0 lead with 10:09 left in the second quarter. Johnny Rogers had a 30-yard punt return that set the Big Red up for the drive. Later in the quarter, the Trojans looked to respond. After Jerry Taggy was picked off, Jimmy Jones scored on a 4-yard touchdown run for USC to tie the game at 7 with just over 3:30 remaining in the second quarter. Nebraska still had a chance to gain some momentum before the half and started from their own 26. They worked their way down the field, and 9 plays later, they were at USC's 15. On the 10th play of the drive, NU looked to take the lead.
Second down, 10 to go. They split receivers left and right. Quarterback Taggy on his roll out to the left. Good protection again. Throws complete over there to Rogers. Touchdown! Well, they said Bob DeManny had put together an offense, and mother he has.
Another big play by a couple of Husker greats to give Nebraska the 14-7 advantage with 54 seconds left before halftime. Both defenses made adjustments out of the locker room and forced some stops. The Trojans were able to get another interception that jump-started their ensuing drive on their way to a 1-yard Charlie Evans touchdown run that tied the game at 14 with 6:21 left in the third. However, it didn't take Nebraska long to retake the lead. In fact, it took just 2 plays.
And there's a quick pitch out to Orduna, who's running the right side. He got a good block. He's breaking over the right side. He's going to the 45, to the 40, the 30. He's to the 20. He's to the 15, the 10, the 5. He's in there. Joe Orduna came wide around the right side. He got a block. And oh, mama, what a block from Dan Snipe. And wait till you see that on the 2.
An explosive play from Orduna gave Nebraska life and the lead once again. Neither team scored for the remainder of the third, so off to the fourth, with NU holding a 7-point advantage. A couple of minutes into the quarter, the Huskers worked the ball deep into Trojan territory, but were forced to try a 22-yard field goal. A bad snap resulted in a missed field goal. The Big Red were unable to take a 2-possession lead. USC took advantage and went on a 12-play drive that ended in a 9-yard touchdown run from Clarence Davis to tie the game at 21 with 8:16 remaining. Both teams had their chances late, but the game ended in a tie as overtime was not introduced until 1996. Joe Orduna finished with 18 carries for 135 yards for the Big Red. Nebraska would go on to end the season with an 11-0-1 record in their first national championship. This has been Tunnel Walk Through Time. Next week, we will travel back to 1987 for a matchup with UCLA. Reporting for the Huskers Radio Network, I'm Camden Cohn.
Welcome back into Husker Game Day. I'm Jessica Cootie, and excited to be joined by one of our great partners here on the Huskers Radio Network. A new partner for us, Remax, and Jeff Berlin of Remax is joining us here for the show today. Jeff, thank you so much for being here with us. Happy Game Day.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
I know Remax just recently made a multi-year commitment to support Husker athletics. What inspired this decision, and what does it mean to be a part of the Husker family in such a big way?
Well, what inspired it was we've been a part of Husker Nation for 44 years. We've had Remax offices, Remax franchisees and agents helping Huskers coaches, Huskers players, former players buy and sell properties for 44 years now. And we just wanted to further cement our commitment to Husker Nation by joining in on this partnership and this multi-year program that we've signed on with.
Your agents are known across the country for being the most trusted in the business. What do you think sets Remax, you guys as agents, apart and earns that kind of confidence from your clients?
Well, probably the number one thing that allows us to be the most trusted is we have professional agents. We don't have part-time agents. Our agents have been in the business for many years. They're professional negotiators. And that's really what creates the trust. It's as simple as somebody that's highly trained, highly skilled, doing a complex job, which is what a home transaction is. It's a very complex situation. So we've earned that trust, and we've been the most trusted for many, many years now. We are very proud of that.
Remax has offices throughout the state, as you mentioned, but how does having that statewide presence help you connect with and serve Husker fans and communities all across the state of Nebraska?
Well, down in Kansas, Missouri, we are affiliated with the Chiefs and the Royals. But in Nebraska, the Huskers are the professional team. And so that's who everybody coalesces around, and everybody's a big Huskers fan. So it was just a natural fit for us.
And you mentioned it, serving Husker Nation for 44 years. That's absolutely incredible. What does that long-standing connection to Nebraska and its people mean to you and your team?
Well, it's the tip of the iceberg. We're looking at another 44 years, to be honest. We're setting everybody up to be as productive and as possible. And the home buying experience may change in the way it's done, but the fact that people are still going to want to buy and sell homes and commercial properties for the next 44 years won't change. And we're positioning ourselves to handle those transactions for everybody in Husker Nation.
Okay, so for fans who might be listening in and they might be looking to buy or sell a home, where can they find more information or connect with a Remax agent near them?
Well, the easiest way is just go to Remax.com and type in Lincoln, Omaha, wherever you live, and our professional agents will be there. Or if you've ever worked with a Remax agent, that's probably our badge of honor. Is most of our agents work by referral because they've done such an incredible job for their clients. They rarely need to, after several years, they rarely need to advertise themselves because the professional job they've done is the best advertisement. So either Remax.com or reach out to any Remax agent that you know in your market.
Oh, that's great. Anything else we need to pass along to Husker Nation here today?
Go Big Red.
I love it. Thank you again, and thanks for your support here of Husker Nation, of Husker Athletics, and here on the Huskers Radio Network. Appreciate your time with us.
Thank you so much.
Jeff Berlin of Remax joining us here on Husker Game Day. Going to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Here, fall means two things: harvest and football. Just like Nebraska, you run on something powerful. Diesel for your farm, gas in your tank, or propane heating your home. Sap Bros keeps your farm and family fueled. We're kicking off with a Big Red giveaway. Enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits when you contract fuel with Sap Bros. And when Nebraska wins, you win. Score a free king-size Reese's in the Sap app, whether you're hauling harvest or headed to the game. Sap Bros fuels Nebraska.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Boyd Minray from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637. Learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play, knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Tackle the toughest tasks on your farm with Brand Agricultural Products. They've got a complete lineup of grain handling and tillage equipment to take you from the preseason all the way to the playoffs or harvest. All their ag equipment is North American built and backed by an extensive network of dealerships that provide support over the long run. Lead the field with Brand Agricultural Products. Visit Brand.ca for more.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a farmer, investor, or beginning farmer, we work hard to find lending solutions to fit your needs. Learn more at dakotamac.com. Back one final segment. Ben McLaughlin, Damon Benning, about to hand things over to Kyle Crooks for Countdown to Kickoff. Before we finish up here in our program, time for our Brandt Ground Game Report, brought to you by Brandt Industries. Make sure your ground game is up to speed with Brandt High-Speed Disc for a better field finish and fewer passes. All right, DB, we talked a little EJ earlier in the show, more so what we saw on tape last week. When we talk about SC's defense being feast or famine, a lot of blitzing, a lot of guys lining up in gaps, trying to do some crazy things, exotic looks for Nebraska's O-line. How is he successful today, and is it looking pretty similar than what it did last week?
I think three things. Number one, you got to establish the run, right? Get EJ as many touches as possible and soften up those edges. Lucas and those guys getting vertical is always going to be a headache. Number two, I think you got to find a way to get Ja'Cory Barney involved. Between Lindemeyer and Barney, whoever can control the middle part of the field to keep Bishop at bay for SC, kind of patrolling the airways back there, will be critical. And the other thing is some sort of physicality in the run game. Just see if you can get SC into deep waters and let them know if they can swim or not. Right? You've got to be able to get this thing into the fourth quarter with some physicality.
How important is it for the Black Shirts tonight to stick with it, knowing SC is going to make plays and get yards? That's what this offense has done for Lincoln Riley since he's been here. It's been no different this year. They're not just going to magically shut them down, right? It's going to be a four-quarter fight.
Yeah, points per possession, points per drive, yards per drive. They're among the best in the country. So the fan base, because we're going to need the juice, they're just going to have to stay in it and with it. The key thing is for Nebraska to force threes and don't give up sixes. But quietly, with any of the RPOs, make passing the option. Again, stop the run first. Maiyava's going to hold it. They're going to put you in conflict out in space. And the RPO game, make passing the only option.
Maiyava, how do you make him uncomfortable?
So he's going to give you 2 or 3 balls that are interception worthy. You have got to catch it. For him, it's pressure from the edges. He's not a step up guy. He's a go around. So Nebraska coming off the edges, the McCulloughs, the Shavers, those guys adding pressure is going to be critical for Nebraska to get him off his spot. Just don't let him get outside the tackle box. Force him up into the pocket.
It'll be fun.
Gonna be
you
fantastic.
Get cold up there?
No.
Your adrenaline will probably wear off mid second quarter.
Well, that and the fact I'm not very smart, so we'll be just fine.
I didn't say it. It's going to be electric tonight. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of foot traffic already around the stadium, and really looking forward to what Husker Nation has to bring to the men of Troy here tonight. DB, appreciate it as always. Have a good call.
I appreciate you.
That's going to wrap us up here for the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. Again, my thanks to everybody a part of this one. Thanks to Jessica Cootie for handling our Cornhusker conversation with Hinrich Harber. And, of course, thanks to all of our production help as well, Josh, Camden, and Russ. We're going to hand things over to Countdown to Kickoff. Kyle Crooks will have you for the next hour. We're inching closer to kick, about 2 hours away from kickoff as Nebraska hosts nationally ranked USC. Huskers having a pretty intimidating atmosphere tonight. That's the hope with the black, all black uniforms and, of course, the blackout with the fans here tonight at Memorial Stadium. Nice change on the turf as well. Nice surprise for you if you're coming to the stadium. We'll talk to you in the fifth quarter show, hopefully after a Husker win, Nebraska and SC in about 2 hours. Kyle Crooks, Countdown to Kickoff, coming up next.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Nebraska football fans know what it takes to be the best. You've got to handle the heat, power through the cold, read the pressure. Same goes for the techs at John Henry's. They're trusted to perform when it's all on the line, when winter's driving hard and your furnace fumbles, when your thermostat is in the red zone, when the power goes out before the final whistle. Make the easy call.
Call 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and electrical.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down,